We've all heard the chilling whispers of urban legends, those eerie stories passed down through generations, often rooted in a mix of truth and mystery. Some are so terrifying that they make us question whether they could be real. Today, we're diving into some of the most famous urban legends that actually turned out to be true. Buckle up, because this is going to be a journey into the unknown, and by the end, you might just find yourself questioning reality. Let's start with one that has haunted people for decades, a tale that's been told in every city, every town, and every street corner. The story of the mysterious disappearance on the subway. In 1950s New York, rumors spread like wildfire about a man who vanished without a trace from a subway train. Passengers claimed that they saw him one moment and then he was gone. Not a single clue was left behind. Police, initially skeptical, scoured the subway tunnels for any sign of him but found nothing. It wasn't until years later that investigators uncovered something chilling. The man's disappearance was tied to a massive, well-coordinated criminal operation that used the subways to transport stolen goods. The legend, once thought to be a tale of a ghostly disappearance, turned out to be part of a much darker plot. People had indeed seen him vanish, but it wasn't ghosts that caused it. It was the criminals working in the shadows. Next up, we have a spine-chilling story that takes us deep into the woods. The legend of the Slender Man. Many people believed Slender Man to be a made-up entity, a purely internet-born myth. But in 2014, that belief shattered when two young girls in Wisconsin lured their friend into the woods and stabbed her 19 times in an attempt to appease the Slender Man. The girls later claimed they were doing it to prove themselves to the Slender Man, whom they believed was real. The victim miraculously survived, but the case sparked outrage and disbelief, and many were left wondering, what was it about this urban legend that made the girls believe it to be true? In the end, Slender Man didn't just stay in the realm of online stories. He manifested in a very terrifying way. Now, let's talk about something that many of us take for granted: roadside attractions. One of the most famous urban legends surrounding them involves the deadly highway hitchhiker. The story goes that a driver, typically someone alone on a dark, desolate highway, picks up a hitchhiker. The hitchhiker is usually a young, quiet person who asks to be dropped off at a specific location. But as soon as the driver gets to that spot, the hitchhiker suddenly disappears. Of course, no one believes the driver's story until, in 1970, a police officer in Texas had a similar encounter. While driving through the night, he picked up a hitchhiker and drove him to his destination. Just as the officer turned to say goodbye, the hitchhiker vanished into thin air. When the officer investigated, he discovered that the man he had picked up had been dead for years, a victim of a car crash on that very highway. The truth behind the legend was more chilling than anyone had ever imagined. Now, let's move on to a story that most of us have heard in some variation: the disappearing hotel guest. This one is terrifying because it's rooted in reality. It's a tale about a man who checked into a hotel and, after a few days, suddenly disappeared. The hotel management assumed he had simply left, but when they went to clean the room, they found something strange. The bed hadn't been slept in, the bathroom was untouched, and the luggage was still in the room. There was no sign of struggle or a break-in. It wasn't until months later that the story of this missing guest spread across the news. The man had been an undercover investigator for a criminal syndicate, and the hotel had been part of their operation. His disappearance was actually a carefully orchestrated event, one that left many wondering whether the truth behind it was more sinister than anyone could have imagined. Another legend that turned out to be true was the story of the killer in the back seat. The legend says that a woman driving alone late at night is followed by a car, its headlights blinding her in the rearview mirror. No matter how fast she drives, the car stays right behind her. In a panic, she pulls into a gas station, only to have the stranger in the other car pull up behind her, screaming at her to get out of the vehicle. As she exits, the stranger explains that there had been someone hiding in her back seat the entire time. When police later investigated, they discovered that the man hiding in her back seat had been a fugitive, and the person who had been tailing her was the hero who saved her life. While the story sounds like it could be a simple warning about the dangers of late-night driving, it actually happened in real life in several places across the country, and it's a reminder to always check your back seat. Now, if you're a fan of creepy tales and you're looking for something a little more fun, let me take a brief moment to talk about an affiliate product I think you'll enjoy. For those of you into crafting and spooky themes, I found the perfect way to add some witchy vibes to your collection. Fun, affordable cross-stitch kits of witches. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, these kits make it easy to create your own magical masterpieces, and they're perfect for anyone who loves a bit of creepy charm. Just click the link in the description to check out these adorable kits and start stitching your own witches today. Don't miss out. Click the link to discover all the spooky designs waiting for you. Now, let's dive into another chilling urban legend, the story of the Grinning Man. For decades, people have reported strange encounters with a mysterious figure known only as the Grinning Man. The legend goes that this tall, unnaturally thin man with a wide, unsettling grin appears out of nowhere, often at night. Victims report that he simply stands and stares at them, sometimes approaching with no intention of speaking. The story took a terrifying turn in 1966 when several people in New Jersey reported seeing the Grinning Man. Authorities were unable to trace his identity, and the sightings didn't stop. To this day, the Grinning Man's true origin remains a mystery, but it seems that wherever he goes, fear follows. One final urban legend that turned out to be true takes us to the dark waters of the black-eyed children. These creatures are often described as children who appear on doorsteps, asking for help or to be let inside. They're eerily silent, but there's something off about them. Their eyes are entirely black, without any sclera or iris. It was widely considered a spooky myth until 1996, when two separate reports came from people in Texas, claiming that they encountered children with black eyes asking to be let into their homes. The terrifying part? The witnesses who allowed them inside said they felt an overwhelming sense of dread and unease. Authorities were baffled by the reports, and some have speculated that these children could be part of something darker, something far beyond normal human comprehension. As you can see, many of the urban legends that once seemed like mere spooky tales turned out to have some roots in reality. These stories remind us that the line between fiction and fact is often much blurrier than we think. So the next time someone shares an eerie tale with you, don't be too quick to dismiss it, because sometimes reality is even stranger than fiction. Thank you for joining me in this creepy journey through urban legends. Be sure to click that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. If you're interested in creating your own witchy cross-stitch projects, remember to click the link in the description for some fun and affordable kits to get started. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.